Pike County Fiscal Court called to order. Madam Clerk, have a roll call.
Judge Rutherford.
Present.
Master Anderson.
Here.
Master Johnson. Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dodson. And Master Harris.
We will now have, we have a quorum. We'll now have Pledge of Allegiance led by Magistrate Murphy. We need approval of the minutes of January 3rd meeting. Judge Hayes and Jeannie have gone over the minutes and found them to be correct. You all have a copy in your packet. I have a motion, please.
Motion.
Have motion, Master Robinson. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
I feel better today. Of course, I've had vertigo, and I want to thank Magistrate Dodson for pinch hitting for me at the last meeting. And as a matter of fact, I'm back to driving my car again today for the first time, really. So I've never had vertigo, but the more people I run into, I hear about it every day. About the problem that you have, and but I thank the Lord that I'm able to I'm back on my feet. A little bit unsteady yet, but I'm in good shape. I've been blessed.
Judge, we're glad you're back. It was a short meeting last time. I done the best I could with it, but I didn't do as good as you do. And, you know, you're an old veteran, and you know how to handle it and do a good job. We're just glad you're back.
I appreciate that. I certainly do. Mr. Jailer, you have your commissary report. I think it needs to be delivered to the court.
I do, Judge. I turn two of these commissary reports in every year, one annual year and one fiscal year, and I also have a copy of my policy and procedure. Just this being acknowledged that I've turned these in.
I need a motion to acknowledge the receipt of the jailer's commissary report. Match for Master Robinson. Do I have a second? Have a second for Master Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson.
Yes.
Master Johnson.
Yes.
Master Murphy. Master Robinson. Master Dodson.
Yes.
Master Harris.
Yes.
Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
Next on the agenda, what we want to talk about next is the NRCS buyouts, and that is part of the $7 million, about half of it, for relocating people out of the floodplain. Jeannie has done a magnificent job in regard. She handles this program. They asked that the programs be separated, and it has been separated. The FEMA part of the $7 million and the United States Department of Agriculture funding to move people out of the floodplain. This is something that we had worked for, hoped for, hoping that our federal government would just, I've had 21 declarations, and about 20 of those had been for floods under my 6 terms here, besides the one that Judge Patton and Judge Dammer and Judge Gibson and the other judges have had over the years. But Jeannie's done a good job with this program. We had 8 more buyouts, and some in, I think, Jeannie, they was South Williamson, and then some in Zebulon was the last 2, and over at Sydney, and even over to Huddy. So it is, that program is moving, and it is a great program. We've told the federal government for years, you come in after a flood, and you give people money to fix their houses back up, clean them up, move them back into the floodplain, and then we go all over it again. So finally, the federal government has understood what we've been telling them for years. We're not the only one. All over this country, the same thing. But It's going to take years to move these people out of the floodplain because of the size of Pike County and the streams that we have in Pike County. But this is a beginning. We're glad to get the $7 million. We're glad that our Congressman Rogers and our people in Washington has worked hard to make these type programs a reality. But Jeannie, I want to commend you for the work you've done and organizing this and shepherd it right on through from the beginning, right on to through where we can see things happening now. If you have any questions, if I can't answer them, Jenny will have the answers for you.
Judge, I don't have a question. I just want to comment on what you said about Jeannie. She's worked hard on these projects, and I'm glad to see on this paper today that we've got one lady in Harkin that we've been working with for a few years that her house was in jeopardy of going over the hill, and
right.
they wasn't able to help her any when they come through cleaning up the creeks. But I see here where we're going to have a pass-through to help relocate her and take care of that serious problem that she has.
Mr. Dotson, this is the 2009 flood. The 2010 flood is the one that Frankie has handled and Jimmy Kaiser has handled. So that they have separated those, and I can understand why, the bookkeeping. So that we wanted to bring, give you a little update on how that's progressing. Last week we had a news article in the paper of the WINS program, and Doug's available, and he can help me if I think I understand the program. But I asked for an update recently, and Doug happened to be out, and Rachel said, well, I can give you an update on it. I handle that program. And I asked her, I said, the WINS program, the Wireless Emergency Notification System, you know, and it goes back to the 1800s in communities where something was happening, they'd go out and they'd ring a bell. And anything happened, if time to come and eat or somebody was hurt or whatever, they'd ring a bell, everybody would come forward. Then as the years went by, then they had noisemakers, different kind of noisemakers. I was raised in a railroad community, and they had a horn. And if that horn blew 7 short times, they knew there had been an accident on a train. And of course, everybody was upset in the railroad community. But different forms of letting people know that something's going on. In Pike County, the largest county and land area in the Commonwealth, that is certainly a big job and a problem for us. You can't have a noisemaker and serve every individual in the county. So this came out during the flood when Doug Tackett and myself was what we call the war room during the flood. And it had slowed down a little bit, and we asked our state senator and 2 representatives to come and take a look at our modern technology that we had that we had in our emergency management office. During that time, Doug was pulling up on the monitor like you see on the screen in his office, a big one, and I think Tim Fields was pulling it up, and Doug was telling him what to bring up and show the state senator Jones and Representative Hall and Representative Combs. And then we ended up 2 things. One was the iFlow system we discussed that day, because Doug showed him how he can push his computer and tells you what the rain is in any stream in the county that was covered at that time. And Senator Jones said, I don't see any up in mine in Chick Johnson's area in Shelby Creek. And Doug said they run out of money. Well, we had worked with Congressman Rogers' office and getting money set up for iFlows, and it comes through the state and comes to us. And we had put in what we had the money to put in, and we didn't have the money. And Senator Jones said, look, I'll get the money for you, but we've got to make sure this county is covered in regard to the iFlow system. And, of course, we ended up getting the iFlow system, which Doug is right now. I made a call last week to Frankfurt and asked them to General Hetzel's office if they would, Doug would be calling them if they would get somebody up here as soon as possible so that our streams could be covered. Matter of fact, in the House, I think that Representative Combs handled that part of the legislation through the House, which they had to get it passed, and Senator Jones handled it in the Senate. Ironically, we got 5 up in the Shelby Creek area, up Long Fork, Beefide, and covered that area near Marshall's Branch, where Chick was raised right above there. They have one being installed there, up that creek, and everything was covered. Ironically, we was able to get one on Coon Creek also, which certainly we know what would have happened if, and that's what the Senator Jones said, what would have happened if it would have been dark, 100 would have got drowned. So with this system, and when I called and said, okay, how many we got signed up on it? 2,600. This program is a program that can be, and I know we've done all we could, our media office and Doug, to let people know about this program, but you have to sign up on it. People have to sign up on the WINS program. They've got numbers that will be listed by Pike TV on this that you can call to sign up. You can do it on the internet with your computer. You can do it with your iPhone. You can do it with your cell phone. You can text. Having said that, you can get your messages. And I know when they was testing this system that I signed up on it, and I got my one call at 4:30 in the morning. Well, I didn't like it, but that's my job as chief executive, and this court's job is to keep people safe in this county as we could. But they was testing their system and to see if it came through. Well, they heard from Doug on mine because it came through. It was working. But we've got to get the people of this county signed up on it. That's the only thing. It can save lives. The article in the paper said it can save your life. It can save people in business money. They can move things out when they get this projection. And Doug, I hope I'm adequately explaining this program, because it is a program that you worked hard to get and had help and severance tax money. And I know that our legislator said, with the court working with us and with the congressman already involved in it, that this can work and will work in a county like Pike County that has so many people scattered in so many different areas of the county. So this is an opportunity for people to go to their internet and to whatever, telephone, come to the 4th floor of the courthouse and sign up on it. So Doug, if I've missed anything, I'll ask you, and if the court has any questions, to answer the questions. And I want to say for the newspaper, and I see Mr. Cassidy, the editor back here, I want to thank you all for putting the story in the paper. I know we gave it to you and it took you some time to get it in, but the key was, and I explained that to the publisher of the paper, we have to look to our local paper to let people know what's going on in government in this county, same as we do with Pike TV, same as we do with our radio stations, to let people know what's happening and what's available to them. But this can save people's lives. And it is a service that we're glad, Doug, and if I missed anything, fill in the hole. You think I've covered it pretty good. Now, we want that 2,600 number to go up. I understand that Brandon told me that there's already getting people texting in, people already signing up on it, and so this is good news for us, and we thank the newspaper for assisting us. I've got call after the story's been in the newspaper, and it was to me, that was a front page story, but I don't run the paper. That other people makes decision. That's a life-saving program that we have for the people of this county. If there are no questions or anything in regard to the iFlow system and or the WINS system, we'll move on to the next thing we have. The next thing we have on the agenda is a company that I know a little bit about. This family, the Potter family and the Bentley family, on Elkhorn Creek in Pike County, and Magistrate Robinson and I have talked about this family and about what Mr. Potter saw back on that mountain, on the Pine Mountain Range, of probably the purest water of anywhere in Kentucky or in Central Appalachia. And then it started about 1986 when Estill Bentley Sr. and his family, they brought together this business and began growing a business in Pike County, Kentucky, using a resource which was probably the purest water. And I just don't say that off the top of my head. That's what the state health department says. It's probably the purest water used for anything like this in the Commonwealth, and there are others that produce water in Kentucky, but this is the most purest water from the, if you want to use the term, from the get-go as it runs off the mountain. Mother Nature Water Company is Estill Bentley and his family, and I think we have Estill Jr. with us today. But it's really the American story, where a family wants to live good here in Central Appalachia and have the opportunity to start a business. And this Bentley family, that's the way that they've operated this business. I think they have about 20 employees, and they produce around 20,000 gallons per day. And folks, I don't know what we would have done. Doug Tackett, and I keep referring to Doug, but I know that we've had all of these disasters, all the floods, and the first thing we do is we call Estill and say, how much water you got, have you got, because we have to have the water to making sure our people have potable water and water to cook with. So that's the first thing we do. And then he gets geared up, and then if he starts producing, if he's producing at 80%, he'll produce at 100% until he gets enough, and he always has a lot in storage. This company in '87 from East Kentucky Beverage Company, they bought Kentucky Crystal Water, and started the local water business, serving this building and everybody in eastern Kentucky. The school systems, they have contracts all over Kentucky with school systems. Then they went to Tennessee, and they bought a company like the company they bought here in Pike County. And they went to Virginia, and they bought another company and started serving the schools and the people at the need that the people have. Then they branched out and went working to get several contracts, and they've had several large contracts on the national market and have provided people on the national market with water to sell. And I know that if you've tasted this water like I have at Third Place, and Judge Hayes was saying, I've got to get a list from them where I can buy this water. So you need to provide a list, but this company has meant so much to so many. They give back to their community. They are a caring family. They certainly support their community, and they have, I think, around 20 employees at the present time. But this is a company that I know that the state people had told me they didn't know what they would do in Letcher County when they had their spills over there if it hadn't been for this company, what they did for them. And I might add, any time that this government had got water from them that we was not reimbursed by the federal government, that is FEMA, that this company never did bill Pike County. So they're part of this community. They're a part when people out here needed drinking water that was good and pure at a time they had no drinking water. So, and you all been through these floods like I have, and sometimes you would pay $5 for just a drink of water because there's no potable water nowhere. But what a blessing that we've had this company in Pike County, and that this family has grown this business and not forgot their roots and the people that they serve. And Judge Haight, I would ask you to read a proclamation and then ask the court as a motion from Magistrate Robinson to approve this resolution.
This is a resolution, Mother Nature Spring Water, by the Pike County Fiscal Court. Whereas Mother Nature Spring Water was started by Estill Bentley Sr. in 1986, and in the beginning, the company sold more water away from Pike County than locally. And whereas Mr. Bentley bought Kentucky Crystal Water shortly after starting Mother Nature, which was started by East Kentucky Beverage, and provides water to 5,000 homes, businesses, and offices in all eastern Kentucky from Beattyville east. In the 1990s, the trend switched and business started booming locally. And whereas Bentley Distributing was started in 2000 to serve the customers in East Tennessee and Southwest Virginia. And whereas Mother Nature has donated water to many things for many reasons. During the ice storm in 2011, a National Guard truck wrecked carrying hundreds of gallons of donated Mother Nature water. The water was immediately replaced by Mother Nature, and a top priority of the company is making sure the people of Pike County have water during a disaster and supplies of water for free during the disasters to Pike and other counties. And whereas the Kentucky Department of Water officials have remarked that it is the best water they have ever examined and comes from springs locally discovered by Roy Potter, Estill Bentley Sr.'s father-in-law. And whereas the plant has at times operated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and is capable of producing 20,000 gallons of water per day, now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Pike County Fiscal Court, hereby bestow upon Mother Nature Spring Water the Economic Development Award done in the County of Pike the 15th day of January in the year of our Lord, 2013, and executed by Wayne T. Rutherford, Judge Executive, Howard Keith Hall, County Attorney, Jeff Anderson, District 1 Magistrate, Vernon Chick Johnson, District 2 Magistrate, Leo Murphy, District 3 Magistrate, Kenneth Robinson, District 4 Magistrate, Hillman Dotson, District 5 Magistrate, and Christian Harris, District 6 Magistrate. And Judge, with the reading of that resolution, I would like to say on a personal note that that is absolutely the best, finest water that I've ever put in my mouth, and I don't care how much you go to the store and pay for any other water. If you want good water, get some of the water from that spring up on the hill. I understand it's so pure that you can drink it right out of the spring without really any further processing, and I know Mother Nature does process it, Judge, but boy, what fine water it is.
Yes, we'll go ahead and get the motion by Magistrate Robinson. I have a second. I have a second from Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes, and another thing, I don't think that's one of the best things that ever happened to Chevy Creek up there. Everything. And I got flooded twice up there. And from down or somewhere, they always had water
Right.
there in front of my place.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
I'm going to vote yes, and I also want to say I've never had the pleasure of meeting the Bentleys, but I want to say thank you for everything that you've done for Pike County, particularly during the floods. I know that that it was a real godsend for me as a magistrate over at Belfry when the trucks arrived with all that Mother Nature water on it, and we had not had water in a couple days, and your all's generosity, and I heard over and over again that they'd given out. I mean, they didn't have any more bottles to put it in. You all had given so much to the flooding victims, and I just want to say on a personal note, thank you, and I'm happy to vote yes on the resolution.
Thank you, Magistrate Harris.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. I want to ask the Bentley family to meet me and the Magistrate Robin down front, want to manage with Judge Hayes, and the magistrate, the rest of the magistrates stand behind us back here so that we can get a picture.
I thought they'd cure that daggone problem.
This is too far from this. What? This is too far from this.
You must have a taste today.
I don't know which one I'm on.
Close tab, I had Stevie, but he
Still wanting me too.
I know, mine's good.
Anybody tells you it's not flat. I went back to the house. Doing great. I just had a call. When I called.
Well, yeah. Oh, dude, got a whole lot to do. Been real hard to put up with.
Well, yeah. Wait till it clears out. A lot of people did, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know, Joe and Carla.
Yeah.
Carla kin to you, I think, too.
Yeah, that's my brother's daughter.
Yeah.
Judge, let me say just one thing.
Judge Hayes, you had, I think, something else you wanted to add.
Judge, I had commented, I wonder where you get the water, and I found out as we were taking pictures, talking to the Bentleys, that they actually have home delivery service. Will deliver the large bottles of water and the dispenser. Also, they'll deliver to you the 10-ounce small bottles. So I'm going to call their office and sign up for that. I'm glad to learn that. Thank you, guys.
Well, Doug, we're glad to have you with us down here today. Oh gosh, yes. Well, we're certainly glad you're here, and certainly glad that you too are participating in Pike County and being able to make a living and be right here in this county. And thank you, Magistrate Robinson, for pointing that out. Next we have on it is and I'm going to ask the county attorney to explain this. We have a lease, Lightyear has a lease for a building, and the magistrates on the court, I think, are all familiar with it. We have a lease with Lightyear, a communications company, and the building was built with Pike County bonds and so forth, and they're familiar with it. In that document, in that lease, gives them the right with an option to purchase the building. On December the 11th, I believe it was, Jeannie, or maybe the 11th, they gave us a notice that they wanted to purchase. So what we have today, Mr. County Attorney, I'll turn it over to you.
Judge, as the court's aware, some time ago, the building, it was actually for Southeast Telephone, originally there was a lease and option to purchase agreement dated January 1st, 2004. Southeast, this lease has now been assumed by Lightyear, and pursuant to the terms of the lease, specifically Section 28, option to purchase, in the event the lessee exercises its option to purchase, the option purchase price shall be that amount indicated in the option purchase price for the month and date of purchase as set out in Exhibit C attached here too, and that amount will be $844,701. This is an option to purchase in the grant agreement. It will require us making a deed to Lightyear, and the purpose of having this on the agenda is for the court to authorize you to execute the deed to Lightyear for the payment of this amount. We do have a letter from the Department of Local Government indicating that the purchase price per the grant agreement, these funds must be held in a separate account and have the approval of the Commissioner of DLG before any of those funds are expended from that account. But the money does come to Pike County in a separate account for expenditure. I would recommend.
Any questions? If there are no questions, I need a motion to authorize as a county attorney. Have a motion, have a second. Have a second. Mr. Robinson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. We have 2 vacancies on the Pike County Library Board, and as the county attorney has advised me in the past and can today again, if need be, this is by Kentucky Revised Statutes, and the state librarian submits to the county judge executive 3 names, and the county judge takes from those 3 names and recommends to the court, and the court as a body approves the membership of the Pike County Library Board. Pike County Library Board is a great board, does a great service throughout Pike County. Building a new building here in Pikeville, a $6 million building next to Lowe's. If you've seen that building going in, I noticed the sign down there, and I realized what it was, where Codell had the sign and the project had started. Now I know the steel's up, and you can tell that it's going to be a good building, but it is Pike County is a large county, as we talked about, and we need services, and they provide those services in Virgie, Shelby Creek, in Phelps for Peter Creek, in Pond Creek area at Belfry, and of course we have here, and we have the mobile unit which travels in other rural sections of Pike County. So we have one of the best library systems, there's no doubt about it, in the Commonwealth. State librarian has told me that. It's one of the best. It's the best operated and the best system. Mrs. Allen does a great job as county librarian. And a lot of people on the internet today throughout Pike County that able to access and use the computer, of course, has had the course through the library system in this county. I took the course, I know, of what it's mean to so many people. So many young people who could not afford a computer at home. And quick as school's out, all your libraries in the county, including the one here in Pikeville, all computers are full, and they're sitting behind them waiting a turn to use a computer. So that is one of the things that's been provided through the library system. The past chairman for years had been Joseph W. Justice, a attorney from Pikeville. He got an appointment as a judge for the state of Kentucky on, I think, Judge Hayes, on workers' comp judge. And then he gave up because he was not going to be present, and they had the building program going on and all. And he just remained a member of the board. But he's been the driving force for the library system for many years in this county, Joseph W. Justice. And he is presently a member. And when I looked at the names for one position and saw Joe's name on there, I knew that I would recommend to this court that Joseph W. Justice be reappointed. He's practiced law in this county for, I think Judge Hayes told me that day, 40 years, a few more years more than he had. So Joe has been a contributor to this county and has certainly been a booster for a library system. Also, I noticed on another name was Kathy Adams, an educator, resident of Pike County, and Virgie High School graduate chick, and Pikeville College, and Morehead State later, and that she was an active member of this board. So I knew when I saw that name and knew this program, the programs that they offer to the people of the county and the building programs that they have, that I was going to recommend Kathy Adams for that. So that is my two recommendations, and I think that this board needs to stay intact. They have this building program coming on, and that building will be completed, and they have a location now. It's not adequate. You all been in this library. I spent months in this library when I decided to come back and run for office this time. I know every employee up there. I went every day to the library and researched for months on things that I knew I would face in government in the future. And the library systems is something that's needed to keep intact in this county, and those are my two recommendations. If there are no questions, I'll ask for a motion. Motion, Master Johnson, second Master Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy? Yes. Master Robinson? Master Dodson? Master Harris?
Yes.
Judge Ruth?
Yes. Awarding of bids, Mr. Stacy. We have no bids today. Magistrate Roadwork, Magistrate Anderson.
Make a motion, we approve roadwork.
Motion, Magistrate Anderson, to have a second from Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson? Yes. Master Murphy? Yes. Master Robinson? Master Dodson?
Yes.
Master Harris?
Yes.
Judge Ruth?
Yes. Magistrate comments, Magistrate Anderson.
Judge, just real quick, like to welcome you back. I know you've been under the weather, as you mentioned earlier. And
Well, I appreciate that.
and I think we need to acknowledge Damus, too. I think he was maybe a little
is
more under
back.
the weather than you were. And it's glad to see Damus back. And I'd called and talked to Teen several times, check on him. And she seemed like each time I talked to her, you were getting a little better. And I would also like to thank the Bentleys, invaluable asset to this county. And I would like to personally thank you all for all the good things that you have done for the county. And hopefully you all be around for a long time to come.
They're in Magistrate's comments now.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Master Anderson. Master Johnson.
Good. I will ask everybody in Pike County to pray for that car that killed that people in my district up there. It was a sad occasion. It's a pitiful thing to see little children like that get burned up. So I just everybody hope and pray for the family. They're tore up pretty bad.
Magistrate, thank you.
First of all, Judge, welcome you back and hope you're feeling better and stay that way.
Thank you.
And I've got a road proposal to go in the system. I'll give the rose to let Frank have to check
Madam
it out.
Clerk will accept that and make it a part of the record of the physical court meeting today. Magistrate Robinson.
I want to thank the benches for coming down.
Thank you. Magistrate Dodson.
Judge, welcome back, and we hope this vertigo don't catch up with you no more. You try to stay ahead of it. But, I just want to say Damus looks real fine, and I'm glad he's back, and look forward to getting some projects taken care of that we need to do in the county. And the Bentleys, it shows the other parts of the country that we have people here in Pike County that can also do the things that need to be done to keep the state and the country going, and we just want to let them know that the county appreciates them very much. But Judge, I just got a few little things, and I was able to attend Kentucky for a Better Transportation meeting in Lexington this past week, and was able to talk to some people on the state level, and was talking to them about our road condition on the Peter Creek 119 632 situation we have over there, and I was hoping that maybe they could give us some good information, but they said we probably would need to get with our representatives, Ray Jones and Keith and Leslie, and get some kind of a meeting set up to where we could get with the governor and see if he could maybe find some extra money in his pot, or maybe get it put into a planning session in a 6-year road plan or something where we can maybe get something done. Or I'd say you're probably getting a lot of calls this last week from the people over there. The coal is running good, and we're proud of it. But the mud situation has got so bad in the last week that people are having a terrible time. And the companies are doing what they can to wash the mud off, but it's still coming out on the roads and causing a lot of problems for the people that's driving over that way. And I was hoping maybe that you could probably get a meeting set up with our senator and our representatives to where we can sit down and talk about that.
Bring you up to date in regard to
that
issue on the road. Yesterday we held about a 2.5 hour meeting. Started at 10, ended about 12:30. I think, Jeannie, that was the time, wasn't it? But Congressman Rogers, of course, has a new field representative in the area, Brandon Smith, and Congressman Rogers and Senator Girdler, his new chief of staff, had suggested that we bring the field reps in. And when I say field reps, that's field reps for our congressman and the field reps for Senator Paul and Senator McConnell, and also our state representative and senator. Well, we was fortunate to, when Jeannie set this up, to have everybody was available to come to this meeting yesterday in the conference room to talk about, to give them an update on what's going on in the county in development and developing the county around energy, and to give them a copy of our DIST for our comprehensive plan for the county. So at that meeting yesterday, we had our two representatives, Representative Combs, Representative Hall, present. We had both of the governor's representatives for Eastern Kentucky available, Cody Polly, and also Ben Hale. And we also and we had Brandon Smith, and we had and then we had a presentation by Transgas in regard to future developments in energy in the county. And then we had a presentation, and on that was discussed new US 460 development and what we was looking forward to and when we would get that property, and advising them of how much level land we would have, about 374 acres of level land to develop to help solve the housing problem in the county, and to try to bring some industry in the future. And we talked about that the Pike County Fiscal Court is the one that the state had said has to develop John Moore's Branch site. So we talked about the property that we will be getting at any time, which will be stone coal, and that stone coal is up Beaver, below Elkhorn, and that's 25 acres, and we talked to them about the need for funding and a package that was being put together, and the meeting's been held in Lexington and Frankfort in regard to housing. We went over then, we talked about the situation in Peter Creek, where we thought we had probably $5 million that would go on the development of that road, and found out the money had been transferred to another area. We talked about the need for the road into Peter Creek and the danger that we had in the road to Peter Creek, and the fact if Peter Creek was going to develop, and further we added that folks, they paid as much severance tax, more severance tax than most counties in the co-producing counties produce in one area of Pike County, which would have been in Peter Creek. And that we needed, the money was gone, the money that we thought was coming for I-66, that we was told that it was going to be on, first it was on a access road to I-66, would have been on the mountain up towards, that would have been on 632 going up to Grapevine Mountain. Then we was told next that they had decided that the road could be spent out rebuilding this dangerous road in this county. And then everybody's read the paper. There's no use to go into that. The money was transferred somewhere else, and we didn't get that money. So we emphasized to Brendan Smith, the congressman's person, and Rand Paul's, and to Senator McConnell's rep, who couldn't come, but she came to my office last Friday and spent about 30 to 40 minutes on this agenda that we had for today, of advising them what would be needed in the future, and where the federal would pay their role, state would pay their role, and the county would pay their role. But to get them to understand, and to say that we had, and we also talked about the money that had been asked for the service station, the natural gas service station, the $680,000, and I advised them that I had talked to the governor's chief of staff last week, and that we had talked to them in regard to this program of natural gas, which we needed to move forward. And I informed our representatives and those present that the only money that had come back to Pike County for jobs that I know about came only in the money that the governor gave us to build a road and to help us from severance tax money out of Fish Trap Reservoir, and the $300,000 for the study. Yet the state of Kentucky, an example, in 2008, the state budget projected $355 million coming from our severance tax and minerals tax, and they didn't get that much because that's when they started the downturn in the state government. But one half of that goes in the state budget to be spent all over this Commonwealth in the 119 counties. It also goes to our major state schools, state universities. That's the reason that we tried to play such a leadership in telling the people that our master's degree had to go from 11% up to 17 or 22% like the rest in Kentucky. And then you had opposition from the president of the other universities saying that you're taking money, but we, the coal miners in this county and in the coal-producing county, and I said the only thing they got left up here was holes in the mountain and pneumoconiosis black lung. So we reminded our people there yesterday that we had asked for this $800-some thousand for a natural gas service station, and we had not heard anything. And our partnership is a partnership with the private, state, with federal, state, and we had been to Frankfurt on 3 occasions and discussed with our state people, and that is economic development, energy, and transportation in regard to this, and that the governor had signed with 17 other states to change the vehicles over to natural gas in Kentucky. So we discussed many things about the future of this county that would have to put funding packs together from the fiscal court up to state government and the federal government. So we spent 2.5 hours at the request of Mr. Girdler and the congressman, but had an opportunity. Senator Jones couldn't make it. We have updated him. They're going to give him synopsis of this meeting, and we're going to continue to follow our comprehensive plan. We gave them a dish that they can take back and look at our comprehensive plan, and we're going to continue, as Magistrate Dotson said, every month, every meeting, to try to keep this on the front burner until, and we are blessed to have the 4-lane highways of 23 being completed, 119 being completed, and now to have 460 about 80% completed and contracts out on it. The rest of it, other than the 2 bridges below Elkhorn City at Beaver. So we were glad, Magistrate Dotson, to be able to bring our people together yesterday and to talk about the future of this county and the roles that we play and the situation that we have paid our debt. We have provided the energy. When we produce 53% of the natural gas in this Commonwealth, and when we produce the coal we're produced, being number 1, and if we'll state would be 10th in coal production in America, we have paid our coal miners and people who produce the gas and the oil in this county. We paid the bill, folks, and we just want Frankfort to understand to give our money back. I will testify, and we have a representative from Perry County has a bill in the hopper that all the money comes back to us. I'll testify in the House and Senate. I will tell them the same thing I told them in 1971 when I proposed the coal severance tax. Let us live like they live in Lexington, Louisville, Covington, Owensboro, and Paducah, and around this state and around this country. Let us have good schools, good highways, good health care. Let us have the things everybody else have. We're the Saudi Arabia of America, and we are the energy capital of America. And we want for our people. We are blessed because we get back 12%. We spend it right. This court spends it right. They don't want us to have parks and things like that like they got other sections, but we do for our people to make sure that these miners and these people that worked in this industry has it available to them in their community. But I think it's time the legislature turns the money back over to the counties. I think Fred Steele had a lot of guts following that down there in the hopper. It's a pre-filed bill. It will be heard, and we need that money to come back. They don't need to take our money. I've said that greedy governors and greedy legislators has told the future of our children away from us by taking our money and spending it in the rest of this state when the coal-producing counties was undeveloped and we was like third world countries. Had no public water, had nothing. But we've able to take the 4% for years, then today we get 12%. Now imagine that. We get 12%. State gets 50% off the top. The legislature then gets 50%. Then they have taken it down now to 12%. So it's time that the money comes back to the counties of origin like it was proposed. I told the governor when they had the shortfall in the budget this year on the telephone that if we would have got the money back, you would have been calling us in the coal counties to borrow money from us to get out of the shortfall. So we produce the energy that's made Kentucky, that's built this state, and yet we're in the position we're in, and seems like that we have to beg for anything that we get or raise Cain on every issue. And I say many times we're the dog that wags the tail. But I'm sorry, Magistrate Dotson, to start preaching and again, but that's how it is.
I think you need to go down to Frankfort, and we'll let you just do what you did to the governor. Maybe he'll open his ear up and help us. But
and I'd have to say,
I appreciate the
Gilman, Governor Patton got us back 50% when he was governor. Now imagine that. This short time since Governor Patton's gone, look what's happened. They got us down to 12%. Governor Patton knew of what that severance tax and minerals tax meant to these coal counties. And while he was governor, and when he left, it was right near 50%. And look how quick that they've taken this money and spent it in other places in the state. And as I said, go ahead, Magistrate Dodson.
Judge, I just say, sound like y'all covered a whole lot of things, and I'd like to to been in that meeting. You know, if in the future, if we're allowed to sit in and comment on some things that you just talked about there, I think it'd be beneficiary to us as a court.
Brandon Smith has an office in the Ad District office at Prestonsburg, and he's available at any time. Mr. Musgrave, who has been very good for us to work with, hasn't he, Charles, the field man for Ram Paul. We all know Donna McClure, that is Senator McConnell's person. So any time that the magistrate wants to get together with a meeting, Jeannie will be glad to set it up with them.
Thank you, Judge. And I'd like to say, Doug, I appreciate your work you done on our ambulance service. I see more activity now in Phelps with the ambulances than we've seen in a long time. And maybe you can tell us what transpired and let the people in the Peter Creek know about our new ambulance service.
Well, basically, the two services, Appalachian First Response and Transtar, are working together to make sure that you have coverage over there. They're going to back each other up to make sure the nursing home's taken care of, and also the emergency calls.
Doug, have they got them a station set up now to where we've got ambulance available 24 hours a day, or is it still on call?
I think it's still on call right now. They were working with somebody to get a station set up. They also had to hire some additional people, and they're getting some additional trucks in the county as well.
But the people in the area is covered by ambulance service.
Yes.
With the two organizations.
Correct, they are.
It'll take a big load off a lot of their minds. They were worried about not being able to get an ambulance when they needed them. And like I say, I've seen a lot of the ambulances in the area in the last week that I haven't seen in the past.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Judge, we had a meeting Sunday with Stephanie Richardson, which you set up with the Hatfield McCoy play that she's trying to put on for the area over there, and we had our first meeting Sunday at the Phelps Courthouse, and we've got another one scheduled for the 27th day of this month at 3 o'clock at the courthouse. So what she's trying to do is put together some kind of a committee to work with people that want to be in that play, and she's wanting to use people in the area to be the actors.
Yeah, well, we just felt, and I know you are part of this, that they talk about the Hatfield and McCoys, and seemed like that everybody's not talking about where it happened, and that's in Pike County, Kentucky, and especially in Blackberry. So we've been working, and Magistrate Dotson, as he said, with the Artist Collaborative Theater to possibly do an amphitheater or to use the Hatfield and McCoy Park at McCarr to begin with, and then look for an amphitheater in that area. And let the people in that area, and we know what the movie had done for Hatfield and McCoy, but about 80% was correct with history. About 20% was not correct. So we hope that working with Stephanie Richards, who is internationally, and I say nationally, you talk about, when I talk about that, I talk about Paris, France, I talk about New York City, I talk about the Kennedy Center, I talk about all the awards that this theater and Stephanie Richards have gotten. Then, of course, I was glad to see a $3 million theater in the city. I think that's a great asset to us, to the culture of Pike County. But I had asked in a letter to the city that they allow the Artist Collaborative Theater to have that theater at certain times of year, to have a Hatfield and McCoy live production in that theater, and was told that we couldn't do that they'd turned it over to Jenny Wally Theater in Floyd County. But still, that we're looking to maybe to write the story correctly, and I think that the work's being done. And Hillman, I commend you for taking the ball and moving it forward with Stephanie Richards, and and also of the people in Blackberry who really showed an interest in it. And I think that's where, and what the schedule was is to start out with in this theater when the bad weather, and have it in the theater in Pikeville. Then when the warm weather during those months, to have it out to the amphitheater on the outside. But the plans haven't worked out to that, but we're still moving on it. And Hillman's still pushing and still working, but we're going to work on that. This courtroom right here was in the same building in the 1800s. The trials was held right here, Hatfield-McCoy trials. I hope that we can get research started on it, and the tours that they have set up comes in this courtroom. This is part of the original courthouse. Right here you're sitting in today. This is where Cotton Top Mounts and others got tried, right here in this courtroom. So this is an ideal place for the Artist Collaborative Theater to come and do a Hatfield and McCoy trial right here. This is where it happened. And they're looking into that. So there are a lot in this Hatfield and McCoy thing, and I think Jeannie is now in the process of setting a meeting up on trademarking certain items through our Pike County tourism, so that the money from nationwide, from the internet, would come back to our tourism so that we can take advantage of this. It's unbelievable of the people that's been to this county from California, state of Washington. Name it, Maine, Florida, you name a state, they've been here since the Kevin Costner movie on it. They have been here touring. Most of the action, the trials happened here in Pikeville. Some of them moved here to try to get out of the fight they had and get away from it. And some died here, some buried here. But the majority of what happened on the Hatfield and McCoys happened in the Peter Creek area, in that area of Pike County. So hopefully, Master Dotton, thank you again for bringing something up that we're going to continue to work on and going to continue to make happen in the future.
Judge, I just got one more thing, and then we'll try to get out of here. Over at our Hatfield-McCoy Park, where we're talking about doing this amphitheater in the summer months, we don't have a restroom over there, and this area adjoins the property that we had mapped out for our trail system, and I think there's about close to $200,000 of coal severance money in there to build some trailhead restrooms and things. And I think that's what it's set up for, isn't it, Rhonda? Or is it set up for the trail systems? I know we'd done some studies to get some trailheads.
I think it's for the construction and design of ATV trails, but that may be to where we can do trailheads.
Well, what I was trying to get to, Lauren Land owns some property across from the park that we had talked about. Mike Blackburn has pretty much told another attorney to have our attorney get a hold of him, and we discussed that several months ago, and I'd like to ask Roland or John Doug if they could contact him and ask him about this piece of property. It's an old Auburn temple that's been torn down, and they might let us use this property or have it for the use of parking and trailhead and to advance our...
Mr. County Attorney, could you...
and maybe we can take that money to build a bathroom and use that in that area for the upcoming events that we're going to try to do.
I think there's some question about the use of that money, and we'll be glad to explore it and see if we can get it in writing of what we could use it for. The requirements that they put on those funds are very restrictive, but we need to get in writing of what we can do with it and follow up on it.
I think we just lost one grant because we wasn't able to secure the
Correct.
language that they was wanting to do on the trails. But, you know, this is something we've been talking about, and I just think if we're going to push for the activities that's going to be taking place this summer, that we might need to make some kind of plans for some restroom activities there to have a place for people to use. And I'd like to make a motion that we explore that and maybe put a bid out to somebody to get one
I
built.
think we have to determine, since this is highly restrictive money, of what it could be spent for, and we'll try to do that and pass it till the next meeting and try to come with something in writing for the next meeting if the money could be spent for that, and then we would move to, if it could be used for that, we could.
Up Beaver, you need to do something on that little
We'll do
project
that.
up there, and if that
Kenny,
money
will you
can,
make sure, and Rhonda, that we get something on that, on the guidelines, and see that if that's restricted money matched dollar per dollar, if I remember correctly.
I think the money we're talking about, Judge, is not a grant hit. This is money that was set aside a few years ago when we were talking about our trail systems.
It is, it's coal severance.
It's coal severance money. It's not a
Matching
match.
money for the $100,000.
It's not a match, is it,
Well,
Ron?
It
It's
was
just
set aside.
Not now.
But Magistrate Dodson's right. It was the $100,000 set aside, or not set aside, but to be used to match the other grant dollar per dollar.
Yeah, I'll check on it.
Check
and I'll
on
get
it.
some-
Let
But
us
we
know.
need to move forward on these things, and spring will be here before we know it
Thank
gets
you,
started.
Magistrate Dodson.
But I have one more thing, Judge, and then I'll quit. I was notified, John Doug, by our postmaster at Majestic, and she said they had just shut down the one over at Stopover. Partially it's going to be open part of the time, and she was wondering if the Postal Service had entered into a contract with Fiscal Court on the use of the old Majestic building for a post office. I told her I'm sure they had. Damus, I think y'all usually take care of them contracts, or
Actually, Master Dodson, Bobby Branham takes care of all of our properties and our leases. Of course, he being gone, it's kind of fell on my head now, and I know the state has written us about renewing our leases here in the courthouse and over at Phelps and the various state offices, but I don't recall. I know we had a lease from the federal government on that post office, and I'll just have to get that lease out and read it and then give you a call. I'll try to do that by tomorrow afternoon.
I told her that we probably would have one somewhere in.
Let me interject this and say there was over 3,000 post offices.
Jeannie said we do have.
In the country. We only had 3 in Pike County. That was closed on the list that came from Congress, and we don't anticipate, from the congressman's viewpoint, any more than what Congress has already acted on. And those that was closed was Fords Branch, Lick Creek, and one more. Jeannie, do you remember what the third one was? There was 3 in Pike County. They was none of them when we reviewed it, because we was going to protest the 3. But when we looked at the numbers and accessibility of post offices, an example, where the Shelbyana post office lived, 2,500 feet back down the road was the Fords Branch post office. Then where the Shelbyana post office is located, the houses below and the businesses above up Shelby Creek is served by the Pikeville post office. Well, we couldn't justify by asking Fords Branch to remain open because you had 2 other postmasters serving the same area. So same thing with the others when we looked at them, but I don't remember the third one. But we don't anticipate any post offices until Congress acts again. And we did have 3 listed. They, I understand, have been closed out.
But Master Dodson, to answer your question specifically, there is a lease. I just don't know what the term of the lease is. I will get that out and let you know immediately.
Appreciate that, John. Judge, that's all I have. I hate to take up so much time, but we've got a lot going on in District 5.
No problem, Magistrate Dodson. Magistrate Harris.
Thank you, Judge. The first thing that I had to discuss is an invoice. As you know, a couple meetings ago, we talked about requesting some records from the city of Pikeville, and I got those records, about 1,500 pages worth, and they sent an invoice with that for $375. And I've talked to John, and we've got a line item in our budget for legal services, so I'd like to make a motion that we pay that invoice out of the legal line item in the budget.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Magistrate Dotson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Thank you all. I have one more thing. We have also discussed previously the Belfry Sewer Project that has been pending for several years. I've been contacted by several members of the community who are interested in taking action to make sure that that project gets moving. And so we're going to be having a meeting at the Belfry Courthouse on Monday, January the 21st, 2013 at 6 p.m. for members of the community who are interested in pursuing a complaint with the Public Service Commission over Mountain Water's failure to provide wastewater service. And Judge, you're invited to come, and any magistrates that would like to attend, you're also welcome. The funds have been allocated for that project for many years, and it's time that we get moving on it. So that meeting will be Monday, January 21st at the Belfry Courthouse at 6 p.m.
I had an opportunity with Pike TV on a program with the superintendent of the water district and the company that they have operating the water district, and I particularly talked to them about this phase in this program, and they talked about this program. This project had been bid once, and it was overbid so high that they could not do it. Then I talked to them about, I hope that you got to see that program, because I mentioned that you had raised that question at court meeting about phasing that project, and that we got $800,000 added at the last legislative session to the pot. And I hope that you was able, if you haven't, Brandon, if you would get a disc of that and get it to him so that he can review it, because he'll need to see that before they have the public meeting, and the public over there will probably be asking some questions from that meeting if they saw it on Pike TV. So they did answer the questions, and they did put that project out for bid, and it was so far out they couldn't come up with the money to do it. They had a location up the old Belfry Elementary School up the hollow. They had made a trip to somewhere in Ohio and looked at a new system that could be used, and they wouldn't need all the property that they would need up behind the elementary school, and that they was going to talk to Laurel Land Company again and Mike Blackburn about the property that they may have available in the area, because the footprint would not have to be as big if in fact that they could use this new type system, if the state health department would let them do it, and they could phase this project. The problem was when they bid it, they had enough money to put the plane in, but the plane or the lines, well, if you don't have people using the system, there was no use to put the system in. So it was a chicken and the egg, and then they didn't proceed on it. But that is a project. It has money laying there. It's been laying there for a number of years and building up. And I specifically, as Magistrate Harris knows, requested to the legislators the last session, after the House did not have it in the pot, that it be put back in the Senate, because we needed to continue building that up to serve the people in that particular area. The 201 had been completed. The 201 had been completed by the county engineer, and so hopefully that's what I know about the project.
Judge, there's just a lot of people that are the same things that you just said, and I've heard those things too. They've been said for many years, and it's just time that we push this project to get it started. I mean, money's been there, millions of dollars have been there for several years, and there's not been ground broken on anything yet. So we've been looking for a place to put a site. We've been talking. We've been doing. I mean, it's time to get something done on the Belfry Sewer project.
Anything else, Magistrate Harris?
Anybody still know?
Next, we have the treasurer's business.
Authorize any necessary transfers and interfund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Do we have a motion? Have a motion, have a second, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Second reading and adoption of an ordinance for the loan money to get us to we get the bond issue in place. Would you have the second reading, Assistant County Attorney?
This is, in summary form, it's an ordinance approving a lease for the financing of a project, providing for the payment and security of the lease, creating a sinking fund, and authorizing the execution of various documents and related to such lease. It's the second reading. It has been duly advertised, would require a motion, second, a majority vote. This is for the temporary.
I have a motion. Have a motion, Magistrate Johnson. Have a second, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Second reading and adoption of the ordinance for the Pike County General Obligation Bonds Series 2013.
In summary form, this is an ordinance of the Fiscal Court of the County of Pike, Kentucky, providing for the issuance of County of Pike, Kentucky General Obligation Refunding and Improvement Bonds Series 2013 in the amount not to exceed $8 million for the purpose of providing funds necessary to pay the cost of 1, refunding all or a portion of certain outstanding obligations of the county, and 2, certain public improvements for the county, setting forth the terms and conditions upon which these bonds are to be issued and outstanding, ordering and providing for the levy of an annual tax to the extent necessary in an amount sufficient to pay the interest on and principal of the bonds, and providing for a public sale of the bonds and the application of proceeds thereof. This is a second reading, been duly advertised, require a motion, a majority vote.
I have a motion. Got a motion, have a second. Have a second, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Second reading and adoption of the budget amendment number 4 for the fiscal year 2012-2013.
This is a second reading in summary form of amendment number 4, an ordinance relating to fiscal year 2012-2013 annual budget and amendment thereof. Section 1A, total amended revenues, $495,426.20. Section B, appropriations, total amended appropriations, $495,426.20. This has been duly advertised, signed off by the state local finance officer. Would require a motion, second, majority vote.
I have a motion. Have a motion. Second, Mr. Robinson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of previously approved transfers and interfund transfers for December 18th, 2012 and January 3rd, 2013.
I have a motion.
Motion.
I have a motion, Mr. Johnson, have a second. Have a second, Mr. Robinson, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the Treasurer's December 2012 financial statement and the financial statement for the second quarter ending December 31st, 2012.
I have a motion.
Motion.
I have a motion, Mr. Murphy, have a second. Have a second, have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dodson? Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
In having called the Department for Local Government this morning to get a copy of our budget amendments that hadn't made it back to us yet, he made the comment to me that he was getting ready to call me, which is never a good sign whenever they tell you they're getting ready to call you. He couldn't tell me what the ballpark figure is, but the lady who is now doing the disbursements for Coal and Mineral had walked by his office earlier, and told him that Pike counties did not look good for coal, and that Amy Barnes had made the comment that it was even less than what they had budgeted or had projected. So this afternoon or in the morning, I should know what our number is going to be.
Is that their projection or our projection?
The projection of Amy Barnes is less than what they had projected, which I told him we were running at 52% with our coal severance from what we had budgeted. But if it goes drastically lower,
Below that.
then we've got some issues we're going to have to
Okay.
start talking about.
That's correct. But so far, we've been right above the water level.
With this financial statement, we're a little over 50% in revenue and a little under 50% in spending. But if that coal severance is a drastic downturn, that could really put us into a different situation that we'll have to address.
If it's below our projection, I'm not talking about Amy Barnes and their projection.
Now, I'm talking
Our
about,
projection.
I'm only talking about ours. I'm
That's
not
correct.
worried about hers.
Correct.
Authorize the payment of the expenditure approval list dated January 14th, 2013, and any other utility and telephone bills received before checks are run, and we received the Suddenlink bill today.
Have a
too.
motion to pay the bills. Have a motion?
Motion.
Have a motion from Magistrate Anderson. Have a second. Have a second, Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson? Yes. Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
I abstain.
Judge Ruth?
Yes.
Authorize a check in the amount of $7,000 to Dovey Simmons for pass-through of advanced NRCS monies on her buyout.
To have a motion, pass through money in RCS.
Second.
Motion, Magistrate Dodson. Have a second. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize a check in the amount of $1,800 to Frank K. Nall, PSC, for closing documents for Stephen Alexander Ellswick when they are received from the NRCS buyout projects.
Pass through money. To have a motion.
Motion.
Got a motion. Have a
Second.
second. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson? Yes. Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Yeah.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
At the last court meeting, Magistrate Harris presented a check of $66 from Coca-Cola Refreshments on vending at the Belfry Courthouse, and he would like to have that money passed on to the Belfry Senior Citizens account to them, and he's going to have the change for it to go to the Belfry Senior Citizens to be able to utilize the money.
Motion by Magistrate Harris.
That's my motion. Those are for the vending machines that are in the courthouse there. I thought that'd be a good thing for the senior citizens
Have a
to.
motion to have a second.
Second.
Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize a check in the amount of $400 to Chantilla F. Rexroth, DVM trainer, for euthanasia specialist training, April the 11th, 2013, Columbia, Kentucky, for Jason Burke to be as a refresher course, and for the temporary employee, Darrell Mullins, plus their lodging.
To have a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Magistrate Anderson. We have a second. Have a second by Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Ruth?
Yes.
Once we get the money in from the bridge loan proceeds, authorize that we issue a check in the amount of $201,000 to Perfection Group upon receipt of the bridge loan proceeds.
Do we have a motion? Issue the check when we get it. We have a motion. Have a second.
Second.
Second. We have to roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Harris?
Yes.
Judge Ruth?
Yes.
I have no further business, Judge.
Need to go into executive session. Magistrate Harris.
I'll make the motion. We move into executive session pursuant to KRS 61-810 to discuss specific personnel matter or pending or threatened litigation.
Madam Clerk, you have a motion and a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson? Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson? Magistrate Harris? Judge Rutherford?
A motion to bring the court back in session, please. Have a motion Have a second, Mr. Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please. We're back in session, Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dotson? Mr. Harris?
Here.
Judge Ruth.
Judge Hayes, would you have the personnel, please?
Yes, Judge, I have a number of personnel matters. First, a mini packer driver, solid waste area number 3 at Robinson Creek. Excuse me, Judge, that job had been posted. There were no qualified bidders. It is our recommendation that that job be reposted and rebid. Next, a mini packer driver, solid waste area number 1 at Johns Creek, a 3H rate of pay. Only one qualified bidder, Clyde Sexton Jr., and we recommend him for that position. Next, a loader position, solid waste area number 2 at Belcher, a 2H rate of pay. There were 5 temporary bidders on that job. The senior temporary and qualified temporary employee is Joshua Hilton, and we recommend that Joshua Hilton be placed in that position. Next, the animal control helper, Pike County Animal Shelter, 2H rate of pay. Deanna Tackett, a temporary employee, has worked there for a couple of years. It was the only bidder, and she is a qualified bidder, and we recommend her for that position. Next, a small engine repairman, Public Works Department, 3H rate of pay. Bruce Akers, who's been there several months and is very well qualified, was the only bidder, and we recommend Bruce Akers. Next, we recommend that the court approve the hiring of William D. Thacker as a full-time executive assistant in the county judge's office at a 2A rate of pay, effective January the 7th, 2013. We need to acknowledge, Judge, the resignation of a long-time county employee, Vernon James. He retired and has sent us notice as of December the 31st, 2012. Vernon James has worked for the Pike County Fiscal Court since August 1987, and so we'll have to post his job. He was a heavy equipment operator in road lot number 1. Next, we need to acknowledge the resignation of Timothy Thacker. He was a truck driver in road lot number 3. That resignation will be effective January 14th, 2012, and we'll post and bid that job, and we'll get a temporary in that, hopefully, Leo, by tomorrow. I'm sorry, what did I say?
2012, that's what's typed here.
Okay, it does say 2012. It's Brenda, it's 2013. We've changed. You remember New Year's. Okay. And Judge, that will do it insofar as personnel recommendation.
That's my recommendation and my motion. Have a second? Have a second, Mr. Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dotson?
Yes.
Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. County Attorney, and the County Attorney will take the treasurer first, and then you, and then we'll close out.
Judge, we have 2 bills that need to be paid. Sunshine Grow Shop for the oak leaf hydrangeas around the generator that we've installed at the back of the courthouse for $600, and raised fencing, post and panel for a fence around the generator, $1,117. This is through the emergency management money on coal severance that will be reimbursed back to us.
The money's already in the budget, what you were
It's in the budget, but it's not here, but we got to pay them to get our money.
Pay them and we get the money back.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Got a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Yes. Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Robinson? Mr. Dotson? Yes. Mr. Harris?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford?
Yep, Mr. County Attorney, yes.
Judge, I think we probably need to move the next court meeting to a day meeting at 11 a.m.
Jeannie, would you give us the time of the next court meeting since we, the court, has a
11.
meeting to go to?
Okay. You're welcome.
What time is it moved to, on what date? Go ahead, Mr. County Attorney, repeat that for us.
Regular meeting.
Is that
February 5th
February
at
the
11.
15th at
Okay.
11 a.m.?
Fifth, fine.
I'm sorry. Give me the date on it, because I wasn't privy to that. Mr. County Attorney, give us the date and the time on that.
February the 5th at 11 a.m. It'll be a special meeting because we're changing the time, although it's on the same date.
Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Magistrate Murphy, second by Magistrate Johnson. Have a roll call vote.